He was there when everyone else left, when the house got quieter, when the phone stopped ringing as much, when the seasons changed, but the pace of your days didn't. He didn't ask where you'd been. He didn't want anything fixed. He just sat close, sometimes with his head on your leg, other times just watching you breathe. And somehow, in that silence, he was saying, "I'm here. I'm not going anywhere." I remember one rainy afternoon, the kind where the sky looks heavy, like it's carrying something it doesn't know how to drop. I was sitting in the living room, the kind of tired that isn't physical, just worn. And there he was, my old dog, walking up slowly, curling beside me like he always had. No tail wag, no excitement, just presence, a quiet loyalty. He rested his chin on my lap and let out the softest sigh. And I thought to myself, how does he always know? You see, dogs don't wear masks. They don't pretend they're fine when they're not. They don't play games with your emotions. When they love you with every heartbeat. When you leave, they wait. When you return, they rejoice like it's the first day of spring. They don't understand time like we do, but they understand you. And yet, without meaning to, without realizing it, we begin to break their hearts. Not through cruelty, not through neglect, but through the smallest, quietest things. Things we don't even notice. A glance missed, a rushed goodbye, a pat on the head when they needed more. These things, to them, are storms. So let me ask you, what if every day you were doing something that made your dog feel unseen, unheard? What if that tail that stopped wagging wasn't about age, but about disappointment? Today, I want to share with you 10 everyday things, simple, routine moments that can slowly and silently hurt your dog's heart. Things you might never think twice about. But to your dog, they mean the world. And just as important, I want to show you how to gently repair them. Because this isn't a story about guilt. It's a story about awareness, about love, about starting again. Even if your dog is in his golden years and has loved you through everything. And maybe, just maybe, it's also a chance to forgive yourself for what you didn't know. Because once you know better, you can do better. That's all your dog ever needed from you. Not perfection, just presence. Let's start with this truth. To your dog, you are not just the person who feeds him or walks him. You are his home, his rhythm, his reason. When you speak, his ears move. When you walk, he follows, even if his joints ache. When you're sad, he feels it before you do. He doesn't ask for more time, more things, more money. He just wants more you. And so, if you've ever walked past him without noticing the way he looked at you, if you've ever brushed off his tail wag because you were busy, tired, distracted, this video is for you. Because understanding how dogs feel isn't just about training. It's about connection. It's about how we show up for the ones who show up for us, every single day. And now that you're here, you're about to see the world through your dog's eyes. So take a breath and listen closely. These next few minutes might change how you see your dog forever. And more importantly, how your dog feels when he sees you. Let's begin. Let's begin with the moment that means everything to your dog. The moment you walk through the door. You may come in with a handful of grocery bags, tired from traffic, already thinking about dinner or bills or tomorrow's plans. But your dog has been waiting all day just to hear the sound of your key in the lock. Every little noise outside, the creak of a neighbor's step, the wind brushing a bush, made him hope it might be you. And when it finally is you, he lights up like it's Christmas morning. Tail wagging, paws tapping the floor, maybe even spinning in circles. He's not being silly. He's not being too much. That's joy. Pure, full-body joy. But if you walk past him, if you say, "Down, not now," if you keep moving like he doesn't matter, it hurts. Not like a punishment, but like being invisible. He's been waiting for you. All he needs is 10 seconds. Just one moment where you meet his eyes, run your hand along his head, and say, "I missed you too, buddy." That tells him the world is right again. That tells him he matters. Now let's talk about the opposite side. When you leave. It might seem harmless to grab your coat and keys and head out the door without a word. You're just going to run errands after all. But to your dog, it's a mystery. 1 minute you're there, the next, gone. And all he knows is that his world just got quiet and small. Some dogs cry, some chew things. Others just lie by the door, too still. It's not misbehavior. It's grief. It's fear that the one thing they love most, you, has vanished. Dogs don't understand work schedules. They don't know the difference between 30 minutes and 3 hours. All they feel is absence. You don't need to make a big scene, just a soft touch, a phrase he learns to trust. "I'll be back soon, my love." It sounds simple, but it becomes his anchor. Studies show dogs who hear consistent leaving cues feel safer. Their heart rates stay calmer. Their anxiety lowers. They begin to trust that goodbyes don't mean forever. So tomorrow, before you go, pause. Kneel. Tell him I'll be back soon. You'll be surprised how much that small ritual means to his big heart. And what about the days when you're the one hurting? You know the ones. When your chest feels heavy and you just want to sit quietly with the blinds drawn. Maybe you tell yourself you're fine, even when you're not. You put on a brave face. But your dog? He knows better. He knew it before the tears came, before your shoulders slumped, before you even spoke. Dogs don't need explanations. They feel shifts. They read energy. They sense heartbreak like the way trees feel wind. And so he comes closer, slowly, carefully. Maybe he puts his paw on your knee, or just rests beside you. But instead of letting him stay, sometimes, without meaning to, we push him away. A soft hand nudges him off. "I'm okay," we whisper. "Go lie down." But to your dog, that moment wasn't about being needy. It was about loving you. He wasn't there to play. He was there to hold space for you in the only way he knows how, by being there. And when you gently reject that love, he doesn't get angry. He gets confused. Because to him, you're his whole world. And if his love isn't enough to sit beside you in sorrow, then what else can he offer? Next time, let him stay. Let him lean into your grief. Let him feel it with you. Because healing doesn't always need words. Sometimes it just needs 4 quiet paws and a heart that beats for yours. Now, let's look at another kind of pain. Not physical, not even recent, but memory. Some dogs come into our lives already carrying stories, ones they can't tell. Maybe they were left alone too long. Maybe they were shouted at or left behind. Maybe no one ever held them gently. Maybe the sound of a door slamming or a broom falling still makes them flinch. And when that dog reacts, maybe he growls or hides or refuses to obey, we sometimes label him as stubborn. We think he should know better by now. And so we scold, we correct, We raise our voices. But what we don't realize is this. What looks like defiance is often fear. What seems like disobedience is actually trauma echoing through time. When we punish without understanding, we don't teach. We re-traumatize. We reinforce the message the world once gave him, that people are unpredictable, and love can turn sharp. But healing comes differently. It comes through soft tones, through safety repeated 1,000 quiet ways, through saying, even in silence, you're not alone anymore. If your dog has triggers, don't ask him to get over it. Show him every day that with you, he's safe now. That this chapter will be different, that fear may have shaped him, but love will rebuild him. Let's take a moment to talk about pain, the kind your dog won't tell you about. Dogs don't complain. They don't whine unless it's unbearable. In the wild, showing weakness could mean danger. So even in your safe, loving home, their instincts run deep. They hide it. They mask it. They try to be strong for you. But the signs are there, if we know where to look. Maybe he's licking one paw too often. Maybe he yawns when there's no reason to be tired. Maybe he doesn't jump on the bed anymore or avoids the stairs. Or maybe he just withdraws, lays alone more than usual, looks at you with a quiet, tired gaze. These small changes, they're not just age, they're whispers, gentle calls for help. And when we brush them off, he's just getting older. She's acting weird today. We miss the moment where we could have made the difference between discomfort and relief. Your dog doesn't have words. He only has trust. And if he's showing you something's wrong, even in silence, it means he believes you can help. So be his advocate. Notice the unspoken, a timely vet visit, a soft hand checking for pain, a shift in routine. These things don't just protect his health. They tell him, I see you, I care. Because sometimes love is a cuddle, and sometimes love is catching what others don't. Let's shift from the physical to the emotional, because not all hurt comes from illness. Some comes from being unseen. Have you ever noticed your dog just sitting close, not begging, not barking, just there, watching you scroll through your phone, sitting near while you make dinner, lying quietly at your feet as you answer emails? He's not asking for a game. He's not asking for food. He's just asking for you. In those moments, his presence is his way of reaching out. A soft hello from a heart that doesn't know how else to speak. And when we overlook that, when we stay glued to screens, too busy or tired to notice, we send a message we don't mean to. You don't matter right now. And that chips away at something sacred, because for a dog, connection is everything. Your attention is his oxygen. But here's the beauty. Connection doesn't take an hour. It takes a moment. A hand reaching down, a glance, a kind word, a pause in your busy rhythm to say, I see you, I'm glad you're here. To you, it's a break. To him, it's everything. Now let's talk about love. Not just feeling it, but showing it in their language. We often think that because we feed them, walk them, keep them safe, they must know we love them. And yes, those things matter. But they're not everything. Dogs don't understand love in the way humans do. They don't measure it in gifts or words. They feel it in energy, in tone, in how gently we say their name, in the softness of our hands, in the way we pause to just be with them, not distracted, not rushed, just present. When was the last time you looked into your dog's eyes, really looked, and smiled? When did you last stroke their head slowly, whispering, "Good boy," like a prayer, not a command? Because if all they feel from us is efficiency, come, sit. No, they may begin to feel like they're just part of the background. There, but not seen. And that's not what they want. Dogs want to feel loved, cherished, named with affection, held with presence. So today, say it with your eyes. Say it with your time. Say it in their language. Because to a dog, a moment of undivided love is worth more than all the toys in the world. And now, maybe the most tender truth of all. Some people have a pet, and others have a soul companion. It's a quiet difference, one that doesn't show up on paper, but in the heart. A pet is someone you take care of, feed, walk, clean up after. But a soul companion? That's someone you see, someone you talk to when the house is too quiet, someone you cry near without shame, someone who isn't just in your life. They are your life. And dogs know which one they are. They know if they're included, if they're named when you tell stories, if they're given space on the couch and in your day. They know if they're just being managed or truly loved. When we treat them as background, as furniture, as something to manage rather than someone to bond with, they fade, not in body, but in spirit. But when we look at them and say, "You're not just my dog, you're my heart with 4 legs," something shifts. They bloom, they shine, they give even more. Because they know they're not just tolerated, they're treasured. So if you've ever felt your dog pull closer to your soul than any person in the room, you already know. You already have what some people spend their whole lives looking for. Honor that. Live like it matters, because to them, it always has. Some of the pain dogs feel doesn't come from what we do, but from what keeps changing. Dogs thrive on rhythm, on patterns. They find comfort in knowing when breakfast comes, when the door opens, when it's time for their walk, when you settle into your chair each evening. To us, routine might feel boring, but to them, it's peace. Imagine waking up in a different place each day, eating at unpredictable times, not knowing when or if your loved one will be home. That's what constant change feels like for a dog, and it creates anxiety. Not just behavior issues, but something deeper. A quiet stress that unsettles their entire sense of safety. They might pace, bark more, eat less, or just seem off. But when life has rhythm, they relax. A walk at the same time each day, a predictable bedtime, a gentle phrase you always say at night. These little rituals don't just build habits, they build trust. So if you've been changing things often, without meaning to, it's not too late. Even a few small anchors in the day can be life-changing for your dog. Because, for them, stability isn't structure. It's love made visible. And finally, the most silent heartbreak of all. The kind we miss when we're too distracted to look up. Dogs speak, not in words, but with eyes that follow us, ears that tilt just slightly, tails that pause mid-wag. Sometimes they just sit, still, watching us from across the room with a gaze that holds 1,000 questions. Are you okay? Do you see me? Can I come closer? And when we don't look back, when we miss those glances, those soft invitations, we tell them, without meaning to, your feelings don't matter. And that cuts deeper than we think. Because dogs speak most clearly when we are most quiet, when we put down the phone, when we turn off the TV, when we simply notice. That still moment, when your eyes meet theirs, can heal more than any medicine, because in that moment, they feel seen, not as pets, not as projects, but as souls. So today, pause, find their eyes, read them like a poem, because inside that gaze is a love that's been waiting all day for you to answer. If you've made it this far, you might be feeling a soft ache in your heart. Maybe you recognized yourself in these stories. Maybe you remembered a moment where you walked past your dog's joy, or left without a word, or missed something they were trying to say. And that's okay. This isn't a story about guilt. It's a story about awareness, about waking up, about seeing what you hadn't seen before, and choosing to do better, starting now. Because the beautiful thing about dogs is, they don't hold grudges. They don't keep score. They live in the moment. And the moment you choose to show up fully, they're already there, tail wagging, heart open, ready to start again. So, how do we begin to heal? How do we rebuild the bridge if we've forgotten to walk across it for a while? It starts small, a morning ritual, a hand on their chest before you leave, saying their name like it matters, catching their eyes mid-afternoon and smiling for no reason. You don't need hours, you just need intention. Let your dog know they are more than a presence in the room. Let them feel like part of the story again. Repetition builds trust. Kindness rebuilds connection. Your dog doesn't need grand gestures, just a little more you. And if you're sitting there thinking about a time when something felt broken, maybe a shift in behavior, a moment when they seemed distant, or a time when you weren't quite yourself, it's not too late. That thread of connection, it's still there. And the moment you lean in, the moment you pause and simply say, "I see you," everything begins to soften. Because love, real love, isn't about doing everything right. It's about showing up, again and again, even when you didn't before. So maybe tonight, before the lights go off, you sit a little longer beside your dog. Maybe you speak words you haven't said in a while. Maybe you apologize, not with guilt, but with gentleness. And maybe they just lean their head into your hand, as if to say, "It's okay, I'm still here." Because that's who they are. They're not waiting for perfection. They're waiting for presence. And now that you know what their heart truly needs, you can give it, every day, in ways that feel small, but mean everything. If this message touched something in you, if it reminded you of how much your dog truly feels, then please share this with someone who loves their dog, too. Let them see what you've seen today. And in the comments below, tell us, has your dog ever tried to tell you something, and you missed it at first? What did you learn? Your story might help someone else see, with new eyes. And if you'd like to go even deeper into this bond, to discover simple, beautiful ways to show your dog you love them every single day, watch the next video. Because your dog already knows they love you, but they need to feel that you love them too.